The answer to these questions lie in a story as old as time, rooted in an ancient prophecy written in the ancient Bible. This prophecy speaks of a legacy of strife and tension among the descendants of Ishmael, a legacy that reverberates across history and remains visible today. This prophecy, delivered thousands of years ago, holds the key to understanding not only the past, but also the present and future of the region. It is a story of division, resilience, and destiny that transcends politics and human history. Today, we will unravel the layers of this prophecy, exploring its origins, meaning, and implications. But before we begin, let us welcome you to our channel. We are thrilled to have you join us on this journey of discovery and understanding. Here, we bring you content rich in history and spiritual insight, crafted with dedication and love. If you find value in what we share, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, like, and share this video to help us grow this community. Your support allows us to continue bringing you thought-provoking stories like this one. God bless you for being here. Now, let us dive into this incredible story. Hagar, an Egyptian servant in the household of Abram and Sarai, later known as Abraham and Sarah, did not choose the life she found herself living. Sarai's inability to bear children brought her immense pain and frustration. In her desperation for an heir, Sarai devised a plan that would change the course of history. She asked Abram to father a child through Hagar, her servant, in the hopes that this child would secure their legacy. Hagar became pregnant, but instead of solving the household problems, her pregnancy intensified the tension. Sarai grew increasingly jealous and treated Hagar so harshly that she fled into the wilderness. It was in this desolate place that an angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar. The message the angel delivered was no ordinary one. It was a prophecy that would shape the lives of Hagar, her unborn son, and countless others throughout history. The angel instructed Hagar to return to Sarai and submit to her, but also gave her a prophecy about her son, Ishmael. Will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers. According to the rules of competition, he will have us to defeat him. These words were not just unsettling. They were profound and prophetic, laying the foundation for generations of tension and conflict. Before we delve into the meaning of this prophecy, let us first understand Ishmael's significance. Ishmael was the firstborn son of Abram, later renamed Abraham, the patriarch of three major world religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. However, Ishmael's birth came not through Abraham's wife Sarah, but through Sarah's servant, Hagar. This distinction would define Ishmael's life and legacy. At the time of Ishmael's birth, he was Abraham's only son, and by tradition, he was poised to inherit everything from his father. However, when Sarah miraculously gave birth to Isaac, God declared that his covenant would be fulfilled through Isaac, not Ishmael. This divine decision set the stage for conflict between Ishmael and Isaac and their descendants, creating a division that would shape history. The prophecy given to Hagar was loaded with meaning. The angel described Ishmael as a wild donkey of a man, a symbol of untamed freedom and independence in the ancient world. Wild donkeys roamed wherever they pleased, unrestrained by the conventions of settled life. This description indicated that Ishmael and his descendants would live outside the bounds of traditional civilization. They would embody a fierce independence, often clashing with those around them. The next part of the prophecy was even more troubling. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. This foretold a life of perpetual conflict for Ishmael and his descendants. Throughout history, this prophecy has manifested in the Arab people, who are traditionally considered Ishmael's descendants. The Arab world has experienced a legacy of internal strife, tribal warfare, and external conflicts. These tensions are not merely political. They echo the ancient words spoken to Hagar in the wilderness. Finally, the angel said Ishmael would live in hostility toward all his brothers. This referred directly to his relationship with Isaac and their descendants. Isaac, the son of Abraham and Sarah, became the father of Jacob, later known as Israel, and his descendants, meanwhile, are traditionally seen as the forefathers of the Arab nations. The rivalry between Ishmael and Isaac, born out of their circumstances, carried on through their descendants, fueling tensions that persist to this day. This prophecy, spoken to a desperate woman in the wilderness, has transcended time, shaping the destinies of nations and peoples. It explains why the Middle East remains a region of tension and conflict, and why peace often seems out of reach. The legacy of Ishmael is not just a story of the past, it is a living testament to the enduring power of divine words and the consequences of human decisions. Understanding this prophecy offers insight into the spiritual and historical underpinnings of modern conflicts. It challenges us to consider how ancient events continue to shape our world and invites us to reflect on the profound ways in which faith and history are intertwined. Stay with us as we continue to explore this prophecy, its fulfillment, and the lessons it holds for the present and the future. The tension between Ishmael and Isaac wasn't just a family squabble, it became the foundation for a much larger conflict, one that has echoed through the centuries. The descendants of Isaac, the Jewish people, and the descendants of Ishmael, traditionally seen as the Arab people, have been in conflict for millennia. While there are many political, economic, and religious reasons for these conflicts, some see them as part of the fulfillment of the prophecy given to Hagar thousands of years ago. Throughout history, there have been wars, territorial disputes, and religious battles between the descendants of these two brothers. The conflict between Israel and its Arab neighbors, in particular, is often viewed through the lens of this ancient rivalry. The struggle for control of the land of Israel, especially Jerusalem, has been at the heart of much of the tension in the Middle East, with both Jews and Arabs claiming it as their rightful inheritance. The prophecy from the angel to Hagar about Ishmael thousands of years ago is a direct explanation for the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. The words spoken by the angel seem to foreshadow a future of conflict and hostility that has played out on the world's stage for centuries. As we speak, there are several wars going on in the Middle East right now. The Jewish people of Israel are currently fighting the Arab in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. The war between Israel and Hamas, particularly intensified since 2023, has caused enormous casualties, primarily in Gaza. Several Arab nations, including Lebanon through Hezbollah and Syria, have been indirectly and directly involved due to their proximity and alignment with Palestinian factions. There is also an ongoing civil war in Syria. Syria's civil war, which began in 2011, is still ongoing, although at a lower intensity. The Syrian government, led by Bashar al-Assad, is fighting various rebel factions, including ISIS and Kurdish forces. With significant external involvement from countries like Russia, Iran, and Turkey. There is also an ongoing war in Yemen. Yemen continues to be embroiled in a brutal civil war that started in 2015. The conflict primarily involves the Houthi rebels and the Saudi-led coalition supporting Yemen's internationally recognized government. This war has resulted in a humanitarian disaster, with millions displaced, widespread famine, and thousands of deaths. There is always war in the Middle East. However, it is important to recognize that while the prophecy may offer a spiritual or symbolic explanation for the tensions between the descendants of Ishmael and Isaac, despite the conflicts and struggles foretold in the prophecy, it is important to remember that Ishmael and his descendants were also given promises by God. In Genesis 17:20, God tells Abraham that he will bless Ishmael and make him the father of a great nation. The ancient prophecy spoken to Hagar in the wilderness has proven to be one of the most profound and enduring prophecies in history. It speaks of a future filled with tension, division, and conflict, yet it also holds within it a promise of divine blessing. The words spoken by the angel to Hagar about her son Ishmael and his descendants have been echoed throughout history as we witness the ongoing struggles in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine, as well as the broader conflicts between Sunni and Shia Muslims. As we look at the modern world, it is undeniable that the words, "His hand will be against everyone and everyone's hand against him," Genesis 16:12, have come to pass. The tensions between the descendants of Isaac and Ishmael have been at the heart of the Middle East's conflicts for centuries, a struggle that continues to shape the lives of millions. However, it is crucial to remember that while the prophecy speaks of conflict, it also carries with it a divine promise. Ishmael's descendants would be made into a great nation, Genesis 17:20. Despite the hostilities, God's blessing remains upon them, and their future is marked by potential greatness and significance. The Middle East's struggles, whether political, territorial, or religious, are deeply rooted in this ancient prophecy. While it explains the spiritual underpinnings of the conflicts, it also invites us to reflect on the greater meaning of these tensions. The prophecy highlights the complexity of divine promises and human decisions, shaping the destiny of nations. It is a reminder that peace may seem distant, but the legacy of God's blessing for Ishmael and his descendants still endures. As we continue to witness the unfolding events in the Middle East, it is important to approach them with an understanding of the deep spiritual history behind these conflicts. The ancient rivalry between the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael continues to have a profound impact on the world today. Yet, as we reflect on this prophecy, we are also reminded that divine blessing and peace are not out of reach. The future is still being shaped, and there is hope for reconciliation and understanding. In conclusion, the prophecy given to Hagar serves as both an explanation and a call to look beyond the conflict, to the divine promises that still remain. The legacy of Ishmael and Isaac continues to unfold, and the world's path to peace may be a long one, but it is one that is filled with potential for healing, understanding, and unity. The journey is ongoing, and we must remember that the divine promises given to both the descendants of Isaac and Ishmael are part of a larger eternal plan that transcends human conflict and brings us closer to the possibility of peace.